All right, here we go. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are live again. It is almost Halloween. As you can see, Hillary's dressed up as, I don't know, who you dressed up as? Beth
I'm
Sutton?
actually in costume for a video that we were supposed to film earlier today, but we were unable to because there were hunters out and about, and we did not want to be
We didn't
shot.
want to get shot. We wanted to be back for this,
Yeah,
this big live video and answer everyone's questions.
it's true.
Let me find the. We need to get this up here right now. Hillary was going to talk about where she lives is basically Halloween Central here in Whitefish, Montana. So she's trying to track down a pallet full of candy for tomorrow night because how many people do you guys get?
Everybody, every child in the state. I mean, there are so many. It's like you don't have time to go inside and wait for like the doorbell to ring. You just have to stay at the door, and there's just a constant flow. Last year, I thought I was prepared. I bought so much candy, and after like an hour, I had to go back out and buy more because we ran out. So it's very fun. And it seems like it's nice again. Last year it was really nice out. It was like in the 60s. And so everybody kind of hung out on their porches and just passed out candy sitting outside. So I'm hoping for that tomorrow too.
Well, we already got a good comment for you.
You know what? At this point, I'm so used to it that I wish I was more upset, but I'm just numb. But thank you for your
They've
concern.
accepted being the doormat of the Big Ten.
I really have. I really have.
There, that should make you feel better. One of your
Oh,
fans.
thank you, Shad. And hello, Ohio, Kansas, New York.
Yeah, we got. This guy was on here early, like 3 hours ago. I don't know if he's still here, but yeah. So what else? We got some comments. Maybe you could talk a little bit about your trip to the ghost town. That was right after the last live we did.
It was really, really cool. I definitely recommend going if you already live here and you haven't been yet, or if you're coming on a trip or if you want to move here, definitely go. It was awesome. We did not get to actually walk inside some of the buildings. We got to go into all the cabins and all that, but some of the old like hotels and saloons, there's still furniture inside. And I posted some pictures of it on our Instagram because I just got up and looked in the window. But I think there are some days when you can actually go in and like walk around, and there are probably tour guides and all that. So, I mean, I would go back to be able to do that. I really want to go in the schoolhouse. I love a schoolhouse. I really
Yeah, we
do.
never got um, the scoop, the whatever. When they made it sound like on the website that it's open year round, and I assumed
Yeah.
there'd be people there year round, but obviously they're only there in the summer, I guess.
Yeah. But it was cool because there was nobody there. So we kind of had it to ourselves. That was really fun. And yeah, it's been kind of a festive weekend in Whitefish. Every year they have a group of people dress up as zombies, and then they do a flash mob on Central Avenue and do the Thriller dance. And so that happened last night. I know there were tons of people out in costumes, and so that's always fun to people watch. And then tomorrow on actual Halloween, all the kids, I have two trick or treater rounds because they come down Central Avenue. And so everybody will come to our office and we'll give them candy there. And then I'll rush home to be on candy duty on my porch. So it's kind of like Halloween Town. It's really fun.
All right, we're starting to get more and more people. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, last year this was on Halloween, and I remember it was super short. And I think you could like hear people downstairs, and my dog was going crazy. So it's kind of nice that it's tomorrow this year. You don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy over in your neighborhood.
It
Yeah, that
is.
ghost town was it's kind of between the Flathead Valley and Missoula, out in the middle of nowhere. And it took us, I don't know, little over 2 hours to get there from here. But Hillary was acting all tough and saying, "Oh, I'm going to come here in the winter." Well, it's 11 miles from the highway. So as much as I think she thinks she could cross country ski up that hill to get
I
there,
don't think I could do
I'm
that.
not buying it.
I'm not good at cross country skiing at all.
Yeah,
What?
I was remembering you and your future husband last year were going to ski into Bowman Lake, and I think you made it about 500 yards before you turned around.
Seriously. And I fell the whole way. Like I like crawled basically. Ugh, it's hard. But it's still fun. Will, do you know of any ghost stories from historical sites or other buildings in Montana?
I don't know the actual stories, but I know that like here in town, supposedly the Remington is haunted. Um, it was an old hotel upstairs, like when you eat in the Mama Blanca's side, those stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, right, people have seen stuff up there, and I don't know. I know one of the what's it called over there in West Glacier by the railroad. We stayed there once. The hotel
Oh,
that's supposedly haunted as well.
and remember, guys, if you were on the last live, we know that my house had a ghost
This is true. Yes, Hillary's
that I
house is
never got to
haunted
meet.
as well.
And then this isn't a ghost, and it doesn't have anything to do with haunting, but I had to drive to Helena the other day, and I went through Lincoln on the way back, which is where the Unabomber's cabin was. And so I really wanted to like find that, but it's not there anymore. But it's kind of spooky.
There you have it. So if anybody has any real estate type questions, we'd be happy to answer that instead of talking about ghosts and
I'm
Hillary's
happy
house.
to keep
And what?
talking about ghosts.
So yeah, the video I'm doing on Tuesday is kind of a rundown on the current market situation. So hopefully that will give you some good insight. It's definitely slowing down. The interest rates are not helping. We had some lenders. Well, Natalie, if you guys watch my videos, I interviewed her quite a while ago now, it seems like, but she and her partner came in and gave a good presentation on interest rates and some different programs that you can use right now that help with the payments, because basically within the last year the payments have doubled, or your buying power has been cut in half, whichever way you want to look at it. So that is definitely contributing to everything slowing down. And also, this is basically, if we're going, now that Rona seems to be over and we're sort of back to normal, it always seems really quiet around between Thanksgiving and basically New Year's. Things slow down a lot. It was the last couple of years were totally different with everything going on, and that wasn't truly the case. But in the normal years before all this, it would get pretty slow between Thanksgiving and New Year. So if you are looking to sell, the people, that don't mind people coming through their house and looking at their house during the holidays, they're obviously serious about selling. So that's usually a sign they're willing to negotiate and sell their place for a decent price. And if you're willing to buy at that time, that's actually a good time.
Yeah, that's very true. A lot of sellers will take their homes off the market in the winter because they don't want to deal with all of that and they're not in a huge rush to sell. So they're happy to wait until the spring. So the people who leave their homes on the market are usually more motivated.
I think I see a question down there, and I thought I had.
What is the current average days on
That's what I was
market?
just trying to look up. I had that.
I have it. I pulled it up. So in in whitefish specifically, this is for September. The average days on market was 127 days. In Big Fork is 96 days, and Missoula and Lakeside were kind of in that 90s range. And then for the whole Flathead County, it was 169 days. And then if I can look back, I feel like it would be very helpful to compare these numbers with previous months.
Well, they've gone way up.
Yeah, they've gone way up.
Yeah, and
So that's a good.
the thing that's a little misleading about those is that obviously those are just the places that have sold. So there's other places that have just come on the market or have been sitting on the market for a long time. So they're just going off of what has sold in September.
Yeah.
So that's not a true. I mean, you just have to take that with a grain of salt a little bit.
It's definitely getting longer though. We're seeing, and we've talked about this a lot, but I think that when everything was so crazy and we were having bidding wars on every property and they were selling in like 24 hours, it wasn't necessarily that we didn't have any inventory. I mean, people were still selling their homes. They were just selling so quickly that we didn't have enough time for things to accumulate. Whereas now things are sitting, there aren't as many buyers as eager to jump into buying something. We're not seeing the crazed, like going way over asking price and buying sight unseen and all that. So it's just, we've got some time to let things sit and get some inventory. So that's good.
Good afternoon from Tucson, Arizona. Well, hello. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Minty Mocha.
What's up?
I said, hello, Minty Mocha.
Yeah, we don't have snow here yet. The other day it was a little bit of flurries for a few minutes, which was very disturbing, but we have no snow on the ground here yet.
No snow. There was snow on the ground in Lincoln, and that was very disturbing
Oh
to
yeah, I
see.
saw your photo of that place.
Yeah,
But was that kind of up in the mountains a little bit where you were?
not really. I mean, yeah,
No.
I guess the elevation was higher, but yeah.
Yeah, they got like the top of the ski resort is all filled in. It looks like, from down here, it looks like it could be open. Obviously, there's not nearly enough snow, but it's definitely covered up there now.
Yeah. How are construction costs in Montana for ICF? Is it still comparable to lumber?
I do not have the answer to that question.
Neither do I. If you want to send us an email, Hanson, we can get the answer for you and respond.
Where I am, residential is slowed down, but there's still a high demand for raw land. The OT is still folks looking for second. I'm not sure what the end of that means.
I would say raw land has slowed down here also.
Yeah, but I mean, everything's slowed down, but I think that seems like there's more interest in land right now than there is in houses. So yeah, we're in the middle of a deal with some people right now that are buying a 40-acre piece of property, and I've gotten a lot of calls in the last few weeks about land. So,
Are there sellers selling below asking?
yes, there are, and a lot of people are finally getting realistic with their prices and realizing that it's not last year anymore. So that's where all the big price reductions are coming from, are the people that started out way too high and are now coming back to reality. So.
Yes. From the buyer's point of view, what are the pros and cons, if any, if your realtor represents the seller and the buyer? Is there a conflict of interest or should they be separate?
That is a very good question. From the buyer's point of view, I don't know how to answer this with it. It could be seen, there's unfortunately a lot of people in this business that are not quite.
Ethical?
Yes, that's the word. So, from a buyer's point of view, technically, well, I shouldn't say technically, a lot of times the seller pays all the commission. So a lot of times if it's a double ending or dual agency situation like you're explaining, the commission will come down, which means they can lower the price some more. So that would be one of the pros. The cons, if you don't trust everybody, and if we do dual agency, and I've done it before, I don't do it a lot, but technically, again, I keep using technically, when I'm representing both people, I'm not allowed to say, oh, Hillary, she can spend, she'll go up to 200,000, and I can't then go back to the to Hillary and say, oh, this guy, he said he'll take 180, offer that. You're not supposed to say anything about prices. So if you want, to have a buyer agent that's separate, then he can be more in depth about the numbers and what he thinks you should offer and all of that. When your guy's a dual agent, he can't really legally discuss the number, the
It
numbers.
becomes more just helping with paperwork, kind of, and just facilitating things, kind of being the middleman rather than offering, guidance as far as that process goes. And also remember that you have to sign off on your agent being a dual agent. So, if that's something that were to come up for us, we've had that happen before where it comes up and our client is uncomfortable with it. And so we don't do it.
Yeah, everyone has to be fully disclosed what's going on, so what the situation is and how it's going to work. And so, like I said, I've done it before, and it was because of what I said to begin with, that the seller was able to come down some more in price because the commission was lower because they weren't paying two agents, they were just paying one. So I hope that answers your question.
Is our winters long as Minneapolis, Minnesota's?
I would definitely say I'm overthinking this because I'm very familiar with the winters in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They're not, if you mean long as in miserable, no, not even close. If you mean long as in calendar time, they're about the same, but you guys in Minnesota is way, way, way colder, just brutal compared to the west side of Montana. The winters here are super warm. We get a lot more snow than you do back there, but we don't get the bitter cold and the brutal wind chills and all of that. So it depends on your definition of long winter.
How deep is the frost level in the valley?
Oh, that is also a good question. A lot of people, obviously that varies every year. I've seen a lot of people that don't even blow out their sprinkler systems because it doesn't freeze that deep here. Again, it's nothing like the Midwest where it freezes down a foot or two. They still dig in the water lines deep to make sure that doesn't happen, but it is not deep at all. I can't give you an exact number.
There you
Sorry
go.
for that. What we'll do, Hillary, if you want to write this down, on
Okay.
January 15th, Hillary will go out in her front yard and dig a hole, and we'll have that answer for you.
I mean, I will do it. In my backyard, though.
We already hit the bottom. This is a very slow day on the question front.
It's All Hallows Eve. People are just
They're out.
busy.
I can hear my dogs freaking out upstairs. Dig to China.
Okay, I'll try. I'm very weak.
What else can we tell them? We must have some other stories. I mean, we can't end in 20 minutes, can we?
Hey, Jared. I'm trying to think what else we've done recently. We've been catching up on videos, going out to shoot things at different locations. That's been fun. I don't know. I'm so sorry I'm not prepared with stories for you all. Can you get Montana Millionaire tickets?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, are we getting them for you or what? I mean, yeah, they sell all the tickets at Hillary's favorite restaurant.
Oh, yeah. Town Pump. What is your region called? I heard you mention Flathead. Yes, it is the Flathead Valley.
Also known as the Flathead part of Montana.
The Flathead Valley. Will, know any bus trips to any NHL games?
You know what, Jared? I wish that were a thing here, but unfortunately, Montana is not huge into hockey, which is disturbing. But I go up to Calgary a lot. In fact, I've just heard from my friends I'm going up there to see the Minnesota Wild play on March 4th. But yeah, there's no, in our area anyway, I've never heard of that. I guess Calgary is the closest NHL team, and it's 4 hours away. Now Seattle's got a team, obviously, but that's probably 11-hour drive from here, so that would be a long trip. And then Denver is probably 13 hours from here for the Avalanche, and those are the two closest American teams. But no, unfortunately, there is not any bus trips that I am aware of. If
Me
there were,
neither.
I would take one.
Wendy wants those tickets. I'll get them for you, Wendy.
Yeah, why don't you contact Hillary offline? I don't know if this is legal.
I was going to say, send us an email. Do you know about the best law schools in the state?
Oh, that's a question for you, Hillary.
Well, I don't know if it really is. I don't know about the best law schools. Obviously, the closest for us is the University of Montana in Missoula, and my fiance is an attorney, and so he works with a lot of people that graduated from there. But that's kind of the extent of my knowge, unfortunately.
I don't even know if there's any more. Is there one at Montana State?
I don't know.
If there isn't, that's probably the only one in the whole state. The one in Missoula.
Which would make it the best.
Yes, it would. Yep.
Are you ready for the new Yellowstone season, Will?
I am. Keep your eyes open for us. Well, November 13th. That's our big Hollywood debut.
If we're in it, we're going to be in that episode. So
That's right. And for some reason, I keep checking the mailbox, and we have not. You'd think they'd do some kind of red carpet thing to, for before the premiere of the season, and my invitation has gotten lost in the mail. Did you get one yet?
Yeah, you didn't get yours? How would you compare the weather, cold, snow, etc., of Kalispell to Eureka?
Pretty
Eureka.
similar. Eureka's a little warmer and a little less snow. But as far as temperatures go, like I've said in other videos, if you drive from Kalispell to Eureka in the middle of January, it's not like you're going to see a huge difference.
You won't get out of the car and think, wow.
I should have brought my shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a little warmer up there and less snow, but it's not, you're not golfing up there in January.
What kind of pests are around? Tarantulas, scorpions, ticks, termites, snakes? No. Well, we do have snakes, but I don't think that's a pest that's like around. Our pest, deer.
I'm guessing they weren't expecting that answer, but she
It's
is
the
exactly right.
truest answer, though, is it not?
Oh, they're just overpopulated in town and annoying beyond belief.
They're so bad.
I tell people this, if I had half the money I've spent on landscaping material since I've lived here that the deer have eaten, I would be retired by now.
If you have pumpkins that always get eaten by deer, like me, I will buy them every year, even though they get eaten. I saw on TikTok actually to spray them with hairspray and keeps the deer away. And they haven't been touched yet. And seriously, it's usually like the next day. They're torn apart.
There you go, Hillary's tips on deer. But back to the tick. Yes, we have ticks here.
Oh, yeah, we
Snakes
do.
are not. And again, when I say here, I'm talking about this side of the state. As you guys all know, Montana's massive, so I'm not speaking to the east side where they do have rattlesnakes. But pests, yeah, ticks and I don't know, some mosquitoes, nothing major.
Bears?
I don't know if bears and mountain lions. I don't know if I'd throw them in the pest category.
It's really deer, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I would agree.
What is the property tax in Montana for building in a remote area? Can Canadians own land in Montana? Do non-residents have to pay more tax?
That's a long question. The property tax in Montana. I have my phone on. The property tax in Montana for building in a remote area. It depends. Every county's got a different rate, and you're taxed on the improvements to the land. So the tax on the land right now, you'd look at the listing and think, oh my God, what a deal. It's only $70 a year. But then when you build on it, obviously it goes up. So if you want more information on a specific area, we could get that. Can Canadians own land in Montana? Yes. In fact, in our little town, there's all kinds of Canadians that own land and houses. Yeah. And do non-residents have to pay more tax? No. When you say non-residents, I'm assuming non-residents of the USA. I don't know, like if you're a Canadian, how that works up in Canada, if you get like doubly taxed, like if you sold your house down here, and you pay your tax into us, and then if you have to pay it up there too, I don't know how that works, but the tax is the same for you while you're here. The only way it could be more is, whatever you deal with in Canada or whatever country you're going to.
Mark, still love you, Hillary. Will, you're still okay. I'll be contacting you after I win the $1 billion lottery this week. That sounds like a great
Please
plan.
do. Feel free to donate to the
So,
Will Friedner Retirement Fund.
love you so much. Do you have bears? Yes, we do. We have grizzly bears in the park for the most part, Glacier National Park, but we also have black bears in town.
Yes, we do. She is correct. In fact, I saw one not too long ago here in town.
They're the best. Is the weather around summers much different than other cities? Looking to check out summers in the spring.
Nope. The whole Flathead Valley is pretty similar. I mean, it's again a little bit warmer and less precip down by Flathead Lake than it is in Whitefish, but it's only 20 some miles in that stretch. But Whitefish gets a lot more snow because we're right up against the mountains, and so yeah. But no, the weather's not terribly different.
How is trash pickup done outside the Whitefish Kalispell city limits? And what about Amazon and UPS deliveries in rural areas?
Trash pickup, a lot of people that live outside of town will take it themselves to they have these areas with all the dumpsters that you can take it to, or you can take it to the actual dump. Or if you don't feel like doing it yourself, you can hire, it's like Evergreen Disposal, or there's companies that'll come pick up your trash, even if you don't live in town. As far as Amazon and UPS, it's same as it is in town.
Is it possible to buy mineral rights with the land you purchased?
Yeah, it all depends on the situation, and a lot of the mineral rights, unfortunately, were taken back in the early 1900s, and so a lot of those are just kind of tied up because the company and the people that uh, registered them back then are long gone. And I'm not sure that's a good lawyer question for Hillary's fiance or someone else, is how you'd even get at those. But if the mineral rights are available, yes, the people can sell them with the land, or they can hold on to them if they want and just sell you the land without the rights. So it would come down to a case by case basis.
We'll jump back to Jace real quick. Sorry, just really hate spiders and have a small dog. Since Montana's high desert, just wondering what my encounters will be like. We do have spiders. I don't know what kind they are, but I remember in my first house that I rented here, it was kind of backed up against the woods, and I used to get big spiders in that house. And they really scared me, but I just got brave fast. And I haven't really seen them in this house. So, I mean, they're bugs. We don't have like tarantulas though, but
We do. Yeah. I spray our house 3 times a year because my wife is similar. She freaks out on spiders. And so, yes, we do have spiders, and they can be a problem if you don't spray. Apparently,
indeed.
Hillary's house is immune to spiders, because ours certainly is not. And it seems the fall is really bad.
Yeah, we don't
Inside
really get them bad in this house. I don't know why.
because you have a ghost.
There you go. Is it hockey season yet or curling season?
Yes, it is, Randy. In fact, I have a game tonight, 9:15.
Ooh, that's kind of early.
It is. It's not the 10:45 game. And last week we had one at 6:15. It was awesome. It was very strange to play that early.
Yeah.
And then back to him real quick. You didn't have to put it back up, but they do have curling here now as well. I don't play it, but I do know that they have curling here. You can get on if you just type in Whitefish Hockey Association or WAHA, all that information for the rink will come up if you're interested in seeing the schedules and all the leagues and everything that goes on. It's a good group of people.
There you go. I'm interested in growing food year-round. Is it possible to find property in the Flathead area with a greenhouse shop or basement or a hobby farm?
All of the
Yes,
above.
absolutely. A lot of people are also interested in growing food year-round.
Speaking of that, have you seen, Hillary, that guy? They're doing that hydroponic. He's got a huge, it's kind of, how do you explain it? Kind of he's back behind Montera.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it.
You'll have to check into that. It's one of those, it sounds like a pretty big operation. He's growing, the hydroponic stuff with the, kind of vertical
Yeah.
growing of lettuce and whatever. I'm not even sure what all he's growing there, but that's kind of turning into a thing around here. So to answer that, to ramble as I'm good at, yes, that is all things that can be done here.
What do the locals feel about Airbnb short-term rentals?
They're not too thrilled. It's interesting. Go
It's
ahead.
very limited where you can do it here. So,
Here in Whitefish,
right.
in the Valley, it's much more. A lot of people get irritated because they feel like, and then I agree, that people will buy these houses and then turn them into Airbnbs, and that takes away a rental for a local person that is just up here working, or trying to
Yeah.
work and find a place. So mixed emotions, I guess, would be the answer. There's, some locals have bought their own places and turned them into Airbnbs, but I'd say as a whole, the actual locals are not thrilled about them. And as a homeowner myself, and Hillary is as well, Airbnbs are great if you own one and you're making a bunch of money on it. But if your next door neighbor has an Airbnb, and that's kind of why Whitefish only has a few spots in town that you can actually do that, because back to the Canadians coming down here, this is their big party spot. So if Hillary's next door neighbor is renting out Airbnb all summer, well, guess what? Hillary's listening to a party going on and loud music and people stumbling in at 2 a.m. To come back to their Airbnb. And so the neighborhoods are a little bit against it. I will stop my ramble. I think you need to find some questions that you would like to answer so I can stop. I'm sure people are tuning out as we speak.
I like listening to you talk. Do you have an opinion about how national press has covered Montana as a go-to place during the pandemic? I mean, if you ask anybody else here, they would say that they hate it and they're angry about it and they don't want any press because they want to keep it a secret. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. It's accurate. I mean, everybody did want to come here, and I agree. It's a great place, but yeah, people get angry.
But yeah, as far as my opinion, I don't, I get it. I get why everybody wanted to come here. I don't know. I'm interested as like how much, if I didn't live here, if I lived in Arkansas, how much press coverage I would have seen about Montana.
I was going to say that too. For me, it was almost kind of fun to see stuff pop up because it was like, oh, I live there. Cool. And I love it here. So yeah, it is the best. But if I didn't live here, I just don't know if I would have seen that much about it.
Because believe it or not, I mean, I'm sure this isn't hard to believe, but a lot of people around this country have no idea. Well, the guy that I ran into at that conference, this is a good story. If he's on this thing, then I apologize. But so I'm standing in line registering for this conference I went to, and this guy next to me starts talking, and he's like, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Montana." Oh, uh, and we were talking about our YouTube videos, and he's like, "Well, you should do a video on Omaha steaks." And I was like, "Okay." I just kind of let that go, thinking, "Why would I do a video on Omaha steaks? You must know Hillary or something." Um, and then we continued chatting, and then a little while later, he made another comment about Omaha, and I said, "Buddy, Omaha is not in Montana. Do you know that?" And he was from Tennessee, and he had no idea. He's like, "Whoa, what are the towns in Montana?" It's like he didn't even realize Montana was state. So
Yeah.
I would like to know, with Randy's question here, how much coverage we actually did get out
Yeah.
out of town.
How far outside of Kalispell could we expect for prices to be lower, like Marion, Kyla, etc.?
Um, there again, it just depends on, there's some very expensive places in Marion and in Kyla. It just depends on what you're getting. Obviously, those are further drives, so the further drives into town. So the demand, there's not a lot of people that want to commute that far if that's what they're doing. But then again, there's a lot of people, just we were talking about with the press, that decided to move up here that wanted to be way out. So I think that has slowed down because of interest rates and because things are getting back to normal and companies are making people come back to the office. I don't think the whole remote thing is going to apply to everybody or every company forever. So, I, yeah, Lola, that's sure, you're going to find cheaper stuff the further out you get, but you're also going to find some very expensive stuff too. It just depends how many acres, if you're on water, if you're, whatever.
What percentage of single family homes have radon issues, would you say?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Uh, there's different, what I've learned over the years doing this is there's different parts of the valley that are a lot worse than others. Usually when you get closer to the mountains, um, it's higher in those houses. Uh, but I've seen it. It's just weird. It's hard to say. And as far as a percentage, uh, I don't know. I've definitely run into it all over the place. But it's not like it's every house. So sorry, I don't have a more specific answer.
I'm interested in moving to Butte or Anaconda. Do you know of any water pollution problems in these areas? I know there have been some in the past because of the mining. Thanks, you guys are awesome.
Um, Thank you.
Thank you, Cowboy.
Uh, I'm not aware of any. Obviously, yes, Butte has that huge toxic pit of water there in town. But obviously, there's a lot of people that live in Butte, and so they're not all drinking poisonous water.
Water.
Um, so yeah, I am not aware of any other than the obvious spots that they've done the cleanup on and or doing the cleanup on. But yeah, as far as drilling wells over there, I don't. Again, if you're right next to those mining areas or that Berkeley pit, maybe it's an issue, but I think further out, you're probably fine.
Is there a need for long-term rentals? Yes,
Yes, always.
absolutely. We always say that it's harder right now to find a rental than it is to find a house. So we hear all the time people saying, well, we want to just get there and we'll just rent something until we can find something to buy. And it's like, whoa, then start looking for a rental now because that's going to be a challenge. So yeah, we absolutely need long-term rentals. I like Montana and Whitefish area exactly how it is. If I find a home, I don't want it to change. Do you expect your governor to be reelected and politics to stay the same?
Go ahead, Hillary.
I don't know, but this is Will's favorite thing to talk about. He did a video on politics in Montana and what is the number, Will? How often does the governor he meets like
Oh, all right. That's the government here in Montana. Um, so we are one of 4 states in the country that I was just looking up. Yeah, this year's not the governor is a 4-year term, and this year he's not up for reelection. He just got in a couple years ago, so he next week is not on the ballot. So yes, he will continue to be the governor for another 2 years. But interesting about Montana, we are one of 4 states that has a state government that only meets once every 2 years for 90 days. So I always joke that the governor of Montana could be anybody because they don't do a whole bunch. The legislature meets, like I said, 90 days once every 2 years. So basically, the governor works, doing laws like you would in other states, 180 days for 4 years. The rest of the time, I'm not sure, goes around and waves at people and goes to parades and you know. So the people that I've had calls, well, before this guy, we had a Democrat, and I'm not picking sides here. I don't care what anyone believes or whatever, but um, there was a Democrat governor before him, and I had people call me, "Oh, I'm not moving there. You guys have a Democratic governor." And again, it doesn't matter if it's Democrat, Republican, nothing happens. And that's kind of the beauty of our government here is that because it only meets once every 2 years, nothing changes real fast. And the governor, again, doesn't. It's more of a figurehead, or I don't know what the term is, but it's not a lot happens. I'll leave it at that before I get in trouble.
there you go. Are short-term rentals like Airbnb crowding out the long-term rentals?
I don't think that's the case. Like we said earlier, there's only a few places you can do short-term rentals. And in those areas, yeah, I guess yes would be the answer because there's more money in the short-term rentals. So yeah, in the areas that you can have them, I would answer yes to your questions. Overall, there's just not as many areas that you can do the short term. And some people don't want to deal with that. Even though you probably do make more money, it's just more of a pain. You're dealing with, twice a week or whatever it is. If you rent it out for 3 days and you got to get cleaners and you're just constantly turning it over. And do you make more money? For sure, but it's a 10 times more pain in the butt. Have we reached the end? We have. You need to tell another story, Hillary.
I don't have any, guys. Unless
All
you
right. Well,
know
here's
what to
one.
talk about.
Someone came in at the
Randy
last-
has a story for us. Last time I was driving from Montana to Minnesota, I got pulled over I-94 for going 10 miles over the speed limit. Friendly chat, no ticket, but getting pulled over for just going 10 miles per hour is unusual. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably, you're right on the, I've never been pulled over for that. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me you didn't get a ticket because that's pretty nitpicky. So, All right. Well, I think we'll shut her down. We are almost at 50 minutes, and we've run out of questions to ask. So, yeah, Jenna, 11 miles an hour is the magic number.
There you go.
I think so. I think the cops have better things to do than worry about people going 10 miles over the speed limit. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. We will see you guys in a couple weeks. And again, down at the bottom, if you want to get a hold of us, shoot us an email and we'd be happy to answer any more questions between now and the next broadcast. And we will see you guys next week. And there's one fan of your hat, Hillary.
Thank you.
So yeah, November 13th, look for Hillary. She's going to be the star of the new Yellowstone season 5. We'll see everybody in a couple weeks.
Better be.